Hi, my name's Darren and I'm officially 23 years old today, like right now. And a fun fact about me is that when I was born 23 years ago today, I came out extremely yellow, aka golden, so my mum decided to name me Zarin, which translates to golden in Arabic.
My name is Nena, I'm 22 years old, and a fun fact is that I was born in America and lived there for 4 years in New Orleans, but that's not really fun.
Hi, my name is Habiba, I am 23, and a fun fact about me is that I was in the same room as Oprah this year.
My name's Deli, I'm 20 years old, and a fun fact about me is that I've never been to my home country yet, which is Cambodia.
Humour.
Ignorance.
Ignorance. Yeah, pure ignorance, yeah.
I think it was mostly humour. So a couple weeks back in Amsterdam, we were trying to go to a coffee shop called Pre-Dami. Before we got in, obviously we got ID'd and everything, and the bodyguard, he looks at my picture and then looks at me up and down like, and then he was just like, "Where are you from?" He was like, "What, Philippines?" And I was like, "Oh, no, Cambodia." And then he just sort of like dismissed it and was like, he chucked it back at me and was like, "Oh, you all look the same anyway." The thing is that things like that just tend to happen in my life. But I never sort of react to them because I don't see the point in it.
I've got a lot, but the one that kind of stuck with me, it was in a group chat. We have a group chat for our workplace. This was in uni. I don't normally converse with the people in the group chat because, it's a bit of a headache. For some reason, my notification went off mute, and all I saw was someone saying, oh, they were going as Biggie for some dress up event, and some other guy must have been like, "Oh yeah, do that, black up." So obviously I was like, huh? I went in the group chat and I was like, what do you actually mean by black up? And everyone was going, "Oh, Nens, it's not like that." I was like, no, what does he mean by black up? Let him speak. And then he kind of messaged me out of the group because he was out of it, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really sorry, I didn't mean it like that." And I was like, "But what would you have meant by it?" And he was like, "Oh, well, Biggie is different to, let's call him Apple." And I was like, "So what? You can dress up as Biggie without blacking up?" So I was like, you do understand that that's really offensive. And I know I am the only black person in the group chat, but had you said that somewhere else, you would have had some different type of reaction. But he apologized for it and said, "Oh yeah, he shouldn't have said it. He shouldn't have put it in the group chat." And I just told him you shouldn't have said it at all. That's what you should be apologizing for, because what you said was wrong. And I left it at that. I've even had a white colleague tell me say in front of me. It's I've never seen this much vim for anything else other than the word. You type it. People can't say, "I've got 5 people telling me, no, actually, if it's in a song, I think I can say it." No, you can't say it. You can't say it. I'm telling you, you can't say it. You can't say it to me. You've typed it. You can't say it. I'm going to report you. And then when I mention it to someone, it's only a song lyric. No, it's not. Don't say it. I don't care. You can censor it out. You can, you can stop yourself from saying it. Something, or, "Oh no, there wasn't." This one was microaggressive because he thought he got away with it. But J Hus was performing at the SU. This is when J Hus was up and coming, so maybe a lot of people didn't know about him. And my manager was like, "Oh yeah, it's this guy from London who's a rapper. A couple of weeks ago, he was stabbed." And he was like, "I just don't understand. If you're living such a life, why would you be so surprised that you were stabbed?" So I looked at him and I was like, "Did you actually read the article? You do realise that he was out. He's never really been involved in stuff like that. And around the time he was stabbed, he wasn't involved. It was literally just a hater. He was like, oh yeah, he's come with his crew, a herd of them. And then she was like, oh, a crew? Okay. And then he was like, oh, don't worry, I'll protect you if they start shooting up the place. And I just looked at him and I was like, what did you just say? And he was like, I'll protect you guys if they shoot up the place. Shoot up where? There's 4 of them. They look well dressed. They're coming here to perform. All they're going to do, I literally just told him, like, these people are just there to hype him up. They are not going to do anything stupid. Like, so basically, I just felt like they were finding every reason to shut the Jane Husserson early. Because one guy went running around in a coffee shop and they called like 5 police vans over and shut the whole event off. And I just looked and was like, I've seen so much go on in this, and this is what you chose. This is the hill you chose to die on. This is the hill.
I don't have like one particular story, but it's something that happens a lot. And I always get like this question asked, like, oh, so do you watch Bollywood movies? And I'm just like, I'm not Indian. But it's a thing where, like I said, ignorance. People just think that I'm Indian without even asking me where I'm actually from first, because I'm not actually Indian and I can't understand what they say in Bollywood movies. Another thing as well, which is similar to the one I just said previously, is, do you eat curry? Or it's quite funny when I say it now. And I personally just don't mind anymore, but sometimes when I think about it, I'm just like, that's so rude. Like, why can't you ask me what kind of cuisine do you guys have, or what do you eat on a daily basis, or what's your traditional food, rather than asking me straight out, like, is it curry that you eat, or do you eat curry?
Okay, so this was in secondary school. So I went to secondary school in Essex, and there was this boy in my class. He was kind of known for telling stereotypical jokes, and I remember there was one time I asked him to have some of his water. He said water bottle. And then he said to me, do you not have water from where you're from? And I was like, huh? And then I just kind of joked it off, but in my head I was thinking, there's something not right about that. My close friend is from the Philippines. So someone asked her if she can do karate, in which I interrupted and said she's from the Philippines, and then the person looked quite astounded because I was like, she's from the Philippines, she's not Chinese. The second time, my friend in my class, she's Turkish, and we were waiting for the drama door to be open because we were there quite early, and one of the cleaners is from South America, and someone in my class said, oh, to my Turkish friend, she said, oh, can you speak to the cleaner because you guys speak the same language?
Shocked. You know when you have an outer body experience, because it wasn't like, it didn't come into, like, it just didn't resonate at first, and I was like, no, this is actually happening. Like, all 3 of them events, because I had to like take time, prepare myself, and then say what I needed to say, because I didn't want to come off as, you know, you're just upset over nothing.
Well, it's quite annoying because it just reminds me how ignorant people still are. There are a million people with my skin tone that are actually from completely different countries and even from a different continent. So it's a bit like, why do you think it's okay to ask me that question? So it makes me feel a bit annoyed. Yeah, in the past when I was younger in school, I know a lot of it was to like irritate me and to get on my nerves. As I got older, I don't think it's to do it to me deliberately, to make me feel a certain type of way deliberately. I just think they just don't know. They're just ignorant. I wouldn't do that to someone else. I wouldn't go up to someone and say to them like, do you eat fish and chips every day? Because I would rather get to know where they're from.
At the time, genuinely I didn't actually care. I think because in the moment I was sort of like, I was focused on what was going on around me. So I was like, obviously around my new friends. We was in Amsterdam. I was already a bit intoxicated. So at the time I didn't really care, but I think afterwards when I sort of like deeped it a bit more, that's when I was like, shit, that actually happens more than it should. And it's actually a thing. I know I'm quite hard-headed and sort of self-aware, but I know that like people aren't the same. So I feel like if that's something that can just happen so easily, like it can easily affect someone way worse than it does to me. Like not everyone is as secure in themselves as me, and even myself, I was affected.
At the time, you just kind of joke those things off because you don't really know how to feel about it, because in my head I was thinking, oh, he's just joking. The second thing I was thinking, that's not funny though. So it's this kind of thing with like microaggressions, because they're so subtle, you don't know if you should give that person a response or if it's even worth it.
Obviously there's people that are just flat out like rude, and I think they're just racist, but I think it comes from a place of not being educated properly. I think a lot of people are ignorant because they don't take the time to actually learn about other cultures, or they just take the cultures that are more prominent in society and they just stick with those, so they don't really know a lot. That's why I said, like I said, I don't really mind anymore, because I just look at them like, you clearly just don't know, and I feel kind of sorry for them. So
I feel like when people are being, say, like discriminatory or like just racist or even sexist or anything like that, I feel like other than like the fact that they may be brought up that way, I feel like it's just something that is just a primal instinct, and it's quite an easy like path to just take. They might just not understand it.
I don't know, I feel like some people do it to fit in to their environment. Some people, yeah, it's upbringing, but I think it's a mixture. Like, I don't know. I used to think it was mostly upbringing. Now I feel like it's a bit of everything. I feel like some of them it is a thrill, because some of them are from London, and it's just like, you're from the most diverse area. So how are you coming out with such views? I just don't understand it. So yeah, I just think it's ignorance, thrill, a bit of jealousy. They're not educated about different people, and some of them are. They just choose to live in a bubble. I don't know. I just think it's a disease. Some people are just so adamant to just be ignorant. I mean, for example, blackface is still happening. You still see people getting caught with blackface, but you understand that people are losing their jobs over blackface. People are really outing these people, but they don't care. So I don't know.
I think it just comes from a place of ignorance, and it just comes from a place of people just trying to be funny. And sometimes I think it comes from a place of also just being too comfortable. You feel that because we're friends, you can say that these things, and it's just not appropriate. So yeah, I think it just comes from a place of ignorance.
Don't be afraid to voice out that you're offended, especially if it's a friend. Don't feel like, oh, like I don't want to seem like a nag, or I don't want to seem like I'm this to her or him. No, like some people need to be educated in certain things. Like some people need to be corrected. Also, take a step back, because I mean, sometimes some of the things that are said, they can make you really angry, and sometimes an instinct is just to, but just think about what you're going to say, and yeah, and then reflect. And if it's a friend, maybe reflect about that friendship, because if you're someone who's very verbal about your culture and who you are, and this person's around you all the time and they're not picking that up, that's not a friend. You gotta bin them.
So what I tend to do, especially like in the workplace, I work with like quite a lot of ignorant people, is I just prefer to educate them, just remain calm and just teach them something about your culture, so they can then take that on, and they'll maybe remember that next time and not be ignorant next time, because they actually learnt something. So I would say to educate.
Okay, so one piece of advice I sort of tell myself, and I tell people close to me, is that you should try to find as many eggs of happiness, is what I call it. So I feel like when it comes to like microaggressions and like even aggression and things, I feel like when you focus on the bigger picture and you realize what you are happy about, that will like encourage you more often to just sort of like spread love, rather than be focused on the hate and focus on like other people and what they think. So I feel like you just got to know yourself as well. Like if you know yourself, you can sort of know what people will tend to think about you, and you can either dismiss it or like let it affect you.
I would say apply wisdom, because especially if it's in the workplace, it's not every microaggression that you need to give a response to. So I think it really depends on the level of the microaggression. But yeah, use wisdom, but if it's a really bad microaggression, you need to call it out and ring from the HR.